there's two things I'll say to Bill 67. Some of the apologists for the PCs will say, and there's a lot of them out there, and a lot of them sound like they're on side with us on the issues, but they like to provide cover for the PCs for whatever reason. They'll say a couple of things. They'll say, well, the bill won't pass, so it doesn't matter, right? Or they'll say the PCs got fooled into voting for critical race theory. Or they'll say the bill's not so bad. Or they'll say the culture's against us. We just got to do what we can. It's not just whether the bill becomes law. It's also forcing those politicians to take a side on the bill publicly. Because when you force their hand and they have to defend it or oppose it, you're now setting the tone for the next time someone comes up with a crazy idea like Bill 67 to fine students or anyone else in the education system for something that's subconsciously racist. But before Belinda voted against Bill 67 and she got ridiculed for being the only one to vote against it, no one was covering the bill. There were a couple articles. I think True North Center had one article or two, and it was very under the radar, right? It wasn't discussed very much. And the day the bill passed, there was not a lot of coverage outside of, I don't know, I think the Toronto Star ran something about this racial equity bill and how great it is. It passed second reading, except for one weird MPP that voted against it. And if Belinda didn't vote against it, maybe there would have been less coverage on it. But by her voting against it and us calling out the other MPPs on the PC side and others, like Rick Nichols, who voted for it, then the scrutiny came. Then people started talking about it. Then the professors took to the podcast circuit to start talking about it and apologize for the PCs and say this bill was complicated. It wasn't complicated. But
no, to your point there, and I mentioned this on the broadcast because we did talk about it before. This is only 9 pages.
Right. 9-page bill. And you just screen through it, and the word fine, we will fine you is in there. Fine.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who just skims it can find the word fine. And the other part of it, even if you don't understand the bill, right, and it's complicated, the debate, if you read the debate, and the PC MPPs were sitting in the debate, and Rick Nichols was there, okay? And here's some of the language that's being used by the NDP MPP who brought it forward. If we perpetuate the existing system of education, which is systemically racist, she said this, and I quote, "It is extending colonial violence." And she kept calling it colonialism.
Oh, God.
Right there. Like someone is sitting there in front of you telling you the education system pushes colonial violence. It's crazy. And then to follow it up, Sam Oosterhoff, who's the parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Education on the PC side, commending her and saying, I can't wait to pass this bill and make it law. 2 other PC MPPs say, can't wait to support this bill. So this idea that they didn't know what they were, that they were tricked, is totally an apology campaign by certain people protecting the PC MPPs. And I'm so sorry to say that Professor Dave Haskell's one of these guys who lives right in Cambridge, who is running for the PPC and was happy to come to our house in a meet and greet to shake hands when he needed the votes from people that supported Jim Belinda. And he took to the podcast circuit to pretend that he had no idea who Belinda was, no idea who the New Blue was, and to apologize for the PC MPPs and say they didn't know what they were voting for. It's bogus. They knew exactly what they were voting for. And so the important thing is we called it out, and Belinda went back yesterday and asked them about the bill and got the House leader to admit on the record that they're not going to support the government bill. And even if they weren't going to pass it quietly, it's important to pin it on them to say what their position is, to get them to climb back and admit that the bill is wrong, so that next time some Yahoo comes up with this idea, crazy idea to fine kids, at least it's on the record that it's a terrible idea. That's another aspect of why it's important. So, we're just doing it on the shoulders of the thousands of people, Rick and Brendan, across Ontario that are awake, that are paying attention, that are calling their PC MPPs, and they're supporting us. And as long as we have that support, we'll keep going. It's important.
Would it be fair to say, this is for you, for Rick, and for you, Jim? So would it be fair to say that looking at this bill, we can now officiate the term Orange Tory. Now a thing.
We should start coining that one. Yeah, they're far beyond red Tories, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah, orange. I don't even know, closet something. I don't know.
That's pretty good, Brendan. I like
it's
that.
a good one. They're definitely, the PCs have made a decision that they're trying to replace their base of voter, and the 2.3 million voters that voted for them in 2018, which is a record. They have contempt for those voters, and they're trying to replace them with left-wing voters. It's as simple as that. They're aggressively trying to do that with bills like this and other left-wing policies, whether it's fiscal or social.